Just a couple of weeks ago, we were hearing rumors about potential casting decisions for the upcoming Harry Potter series, and now HBO has confirmed 6 of them, and people are very mixed on these decisions. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I, like many other people, just believe this doesn't need to exist. Sure, I love Harry Potter. I'd love to get more content, but I feel like there are a million different stories that they could tell instead of just rebooting and rehashing. I get that they are going to be series and seasons, so it's going to be in depth, much more so than the movies, but I just feel like so many of those castings that we already had were perfection and that nobody was going to live up to our expectations. For somebody like Severus Snape's and Alan Rickman. He was absolutely phenomenal, but it doesn't matter to Hollywood because at the end of the day, they just want as much money as possible. And now they have confirmed the first 6 cast members. And while some people are pretty positive, saying, yeah, a lot of these actors are good, a lot of backlash is already surrounding this series. So starting off with this That Park Place article, it says Harry Potter reboot casting choices verified, igniting online reaction. So it says there is a ton of pressure facing the creators of the Harry Potter reboot series on HBO. The original series wasn't even all that long ago, so anybody who remade this was going to face a lot of backlash. No matter who they ended up hiring was going to be highly scrutinized, and that is a major problem. The continuation of the property's relevance likely lies in their hands, and Universal Studios alone has billions invested in the idea that the property will remain abundantly popular. I mean, it's clear as day that Harry Potter is not going away anytime soon. Even look at Hogwarts Legacy, the billions and billions of dollars that that game made, which is why it's so mind-boggling that they're not doing DLC for it, and they're apparently working on a sequel, but of course, sequels take far longer than just DLCs. It says new casting choices released today by Variety, and they are certainly interesting. So, HBO has officially unveiled the first wave of casting for its highly anticipated Harry Potter television series, marking a significant step in the franchise's expansion into long-form storytelling. The series, described as a faithful adaptation of J.K. Rowling's 7-book saga, is set to premiere in 2026 on HBO. I don't necessarily think that you can call something a faithful adaptation when you are doing things as controversial as race swapping. Now, I say this all the time. When it comes to race swaps, they are not as bad as gender swaps, in my opinion, because when it comes to gender swaps, you have to change a character completely. You have to change their backstory. You have to change details about them, physical features about them, even down to little personality quirks they might have. Changing a gender, in my opinion, really never works. But with race swaps, sometimes you can still get an actor who captures the essence of a character, who can actually do them justice, in my opinion. I thought that in the Batman, it was done really well. But unfortunately, that is not always the case, especially when a character is described at such lengths like Severus Snape. And they have confirmed now that Papa Isedo, I hope I'm saying his name right, acclaimed for his roles in I May Destroy You and Gangs of London, has been cast as Severus Snape. Now, I've never seen him in anything, and maybe he is an absolutely phenomenal actor and he deserved to be a part of this series, but first of all, he does not fit the book description of Severus Snape, and second of all, I don't really think that anybody was going to be able to live up to the heights of Alan Rickman, but third off, I have a bad feeling about this because there are characters who openly hate Severus Snape. And are they going to now make it about race? That, oh my god, all of these kids feel uncomfortable and hate Snape because he's a black man? Like, is that going to be a narrative that they're going to push or that is going to actually have credence within the story? God, I hope not, but you never really know with modern day Hollywood. Now, again, he might be a good actor, and he might have been the best choice possible, but I just personally am not going to sit here and pretend that, oh, he would have been my first choice, because he certainly wouldn't have been. I've talked about this series a couple of times on the channel, and the two actors that I have narrowed down that I would have liked to see as Snape is, first of all, Louis Garrel. He would have been my number one. I mean, he just looks so similar to Alan Rickman, but also he just seems like Snape, in my opinion. And then the second would have been Blake Ritson. Either of these two actors, I think, would have done a really good job, but ultimately they went with this other individual and maybe he will be good. The rest of the casting decisions that they've made so far seem pretty on point, but this one just is throwing me and many other people through a loop. Now, we actually also know that Janet McTeer is going to be Professor McGonagall, which I think she is a pretty good actress. Do not get me wrong. She still doesn't necessarily strike me as Minerva, though I think that there were far worse decisions. And we know that John Lithgow is going to portray Dumbledore. He is also a really good actor. I still don't necessarily see him as Dumbledore, but I think that with the hair and the makeup and right the costumes and actually being on set, I can see a sort of vision already. Now, if this will all actually kind of form a cohesive project, only time will tell, but I do think quite a few of these castings are actually pretty solid. Luke Fallon is going to be Quirrell, Paul Whitehouse is going to be Filch, and Fallon is a rising star in British theater, recently portrayed Hamlet for the Royal Shakespeare Company. We also, of course, know, according to this other list, that Nick Frost is going to be Hagrid. This was a fan favorite choice when it was kind of rumored a couple of weeks ago. I feel like those rumors were really just leaks, and HBO was testing the waters to actually see what people's reactions would be before they signed contracts and definitively had nailed down castings. But while some of these sound really good, there is a lot of criticism already circulating the internet. Adam Driver should have been Snape. This is a fan favorite choice. I think that, first of all, he probably would have been too expensive for them because they have so many roles that they need to cast. But second of all, he is also a pretty busy actor, so maybe he just didn't want to do it, because this has been circulating the internet for years as a fan favorite. Guys, it's not that deep. Snape is one of those characters where race literally does not matter. I mean, he was described pretty specifically within the books, which is the major problem with the casting. If this was a character who was really not described in detail, that would have been one thing, but it's not. He has a very clear description of pale skin and sallow skin and, the darker, greasy hair. This is DOA, not a chance the public will accept a race swap this large. What are they thinking? Racism masked as diversity isn't progress. Now, keep in mind, we also do not know the three main characters. Well, I'd say the main 5 or 6 characters, right? Because we don't know about Hermione, Harry, or Ron, but we also do not know about the Malfoys, which is going to be a very serious decision as well. I have a feeling that somebody else is going to be race swapped. I would not think it's going to be Malfoy. For a long time, people have argued that Hermione actually had black features because she had, the curlier, kind of messier hair. So that could be one. Either way, though, it's very clear that they're not going for a faithful adaptation. They're going for a modern adaptation. And maybe this will still come out and maybe it will still be amazing. But a lot of question marks here, a lot of worries. Is Harry Potter going to be Asian? Can't wait for the animosity between Snape and Harry to come across as racism. Yeah, this is my major worry, because Harry basically takes one look at Snape and goes, "Oh my God, he's so scary. He's so terrifying. I feel so intimidated. It's like he wants to hurt me." Yeah, that's gonna be a little bit weird. This series is dead because of the Snape casting decision. I feel like they were screwed no matter what, because Alan Rickman did such a fantastic job, but this is the decision that they've made, and we will have to see if this gamble pays off for them. Of course, I will be keeping my eye on this to see what else happens over the next few days and few weeks. I'm sure right around the corner is the announcement for the lead Actors, that is going to be very controversial if they race swap anybody there. Only time will tell, but for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.